So, hello everyone. Welcome back to a new episode of Dare to Care, your animal welfare podcast that dives into the well-being of the diverse species around us. And today it's all about sea turtles, or more precisely, sea turtle rescue and protection in Greece in the Mediterranean. And I'm Annette, your host for today. And I'm super happy to have two expert guests on board with me to answer our questions and to explain what they are doing. They are from ARCHELON, a sea turtle organization, to protect the species and their habitats, to rescue animals in Greece. They will tell us more about what this nonprofit organization is doing. And these are for today Eirini and Anna. Welcome. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us. Hello.
Hi. And we are excited, maybe first of all, to learn a bit more about yourself. So would you like to introduce yourselves maybe for our listeners?
Of course. So my name is Eirini Kasimati. I am the Rehabilitation and Welfare Officer at the Rescue Center of ARCHELON, which is located in a beautiful south suburb called Glyfada in Attica region, kind of close to Athens. And I've been working there for quite a lot of years.
Hello, I'm Anna Karatsori, and I work as the Public Awareness Officer for ARCHELON. And my background is in biology and environmental policy, but in the last 3 years, I have been working to engage the public in our sea turtle conservation work.
Thank you for your introduction. And I think that will be very exciting also to have your different views on board and encapsulating the different roles you're fulfilling within ARCHELON. Thank you. And I would be curious maybe what motivated you in the beginning to support ARCHELON's activities, and since when or why you are so interested in sea turtle advocacy and their welfare and protection.
I'll go first. So it's a bit of a long story for me, but I'll try to keep it short. Since I was in a really young age, I just showed a special interest towards animals in general, especially rescuing them. Even like my parents have stories to tell about me being a 5-year-old trying to save a bee from the water and stuff like that at the beach. Later on, I discovered when I was a teenager, I discovered the field of biology, and it was pretty clear that I wanted to pursue it, and especially all the field of zoology and evolution. So basically, I carry on and I did my studies in biology here in Greece. And later on, I did my master's degree abroad in London, actually, from the Royal Veterinary College and Zoological Society of London. And through my master's degree, I really wanted to focus on animal welfare and behavior as well. So in general, throughout my studies, every project, assignment, my 2 theses that I had to do were focusing on animal welfare, just because I wanted to help, basically. I wanted to understand animal behavior and how we could help any kind of animal, especially in a rescue center, rehabilitation setting, as well as in any kind of zoological setting. So after my master's degree, I wanted to do some voluntary work because I think it's very, very important for every single person to have this unique experience, not necessarily with animals only. You can volunteer with people in many different fields, many different aspects. But of course, I wanted to focus on animals, and especially sea turtles, because I'm a huge fan of the ocean and how important the ocean is, and all the marine species living there. So basically, after my master's degree, I started voluntary work at the rescue center, which is actually very close to my house. That's convenient, I have to say, because I was there every single day. I was a full-time volunteer for 1.5 years. In the beginning, I said I'm going to do it for a bit, to gain experience, to gain a lot of like practical skills, handling animals, wildlife, how to rescue them, how to rehabilitate them. But I just fell in love with the place. So I was just keep going back every single day. What keeps me still very, very motivated to keep doing this? I guess there are a lot of bad things happening all over the world. And rescue centers and rehabilitation centers, they always kind of offer that little hope that everything will get better. So I think the work that we do, with, of course, the great help of a lot of volunteers from all over the world in saving this species in Greece, for me, gives me some hope and some optimism for the future, to do better. So it's one of the main things that keeps me going, I would say. But also, I'm fascinated with sea turtles. I mean, after so many years, every turtle that comes in has a unique story, found in a specific place with a specific kind of injury or sickness. There's a whole operation with the rescue network of ARCHELON to get those animals here in Athens. As they're being found, they can be found anywhere in Greece. So we have to transport them, get them here, and the whole rehabilitation process for every animal is unique. And we treat every individual differently, depending on the species, the age, the type of injury, of course, or the kind of sickness they have. So it never gets boring, for sure. And I also keep learning with all these cases that we have to treat. Every turtle is unique, like I said. So it's really fascinating.
Oh, thank you for sharing this insight. I think I can totally relate, and I think it's a great place to see results and take action, so I can understand. And also interesting that you describe how you approached the topic and the work, like starting, for example, with voluntary work and starting with something with a practical insight and making connections. Yeah, also super interesting, I think, for our listeners. And we will dive into this also at the end of the episode, like how to get engaged and how to create your own career and path of passion. So yeah, thank you for sharing this insight. And Anna, what about you? You're super welcome to introduce yourself as well.
Thank you. Like Eirini and like many of our colleagues, I also started in ARCHELON as a volunteer. I had no idea what it was about, but a friend of mine just proposed to go for a few weeks to join this project. So in 2017, I joined the conservation project in Kyparissia Bay, where the main focus is about the nesting activity that happens in those nesting areas. And so I was living in a campsite with many volunteers from all over the world. And in the mornings, we were recording and protecting the nests with doing beach patrols. And in the afternoon, we were raising awareness or fundraising at our info station. And some nights, we also had this amazing opportunity to join the night patrols, where we would go to find and to witness the nesting and just see the nesting turtles up close, and even have the opportunity to tag them, measure the turtles. So of course that's an amazing experience and with such a lasting impact on me, and also ignited the passion for protecting wildlife, and also about how important and how much a small community can actually do. And at the time, I was just a biology student. So then I really decided to go more into environmental protection. So that inspired me to go into my master's for environmental conservation and policies. And this is where I had an amazing professor that we both we're thinking about how our everyday speech and how we talk about animals can sometimes interact with how animals are protected or not, and what stories we as a human species tell about the other species around us and how we describe them. And yeah, so I did my thesis on representation of the wild wolf.
Mhm.
And at the time, I had come back to ARCHELON to volunteer at the rescue center again because I had never seen the rescue center. So I went back and did some volunteering in the educational activities. And then I had the opportunity to combine this interest in communication and environmental awareness with ARCHELON and the work for the sea turtles.
So you found your perfect spot, and
Yeah,
your forces can be combined, and also your passion. Ah, that's great, great to hear, and I can imagine like an unforgettable experience also to see the animals, help tagging them, and yeah,
yeah,
spending
it's
the
very
nights
special.
out there. Yeah, so you already touched upon, like, for example, topics like nesting, tagging, your work with the public. So maybe for our listeners, you could explain again what ARCHELON actually does and which
Yeah.
activities are there, and also maybe where in Greece you operate, so we have an overview.
So ARCHELON is a non-profit organization dedicated to the study and protection of sea turtles and their habitats in Greece. And so we have a few different ways we do our mission. We have been running 7 sea turtle conservation projects at the most important nesting sites in Greece for 40 years now, where we systematically, record and protect the nesting activity. And that's in Zakynthos Island, in West and South Peloponnese, and in Crete Island. Of course, we run a nationwide sea turtle rescue network, where together with port authorities and citizens, we record sea turtle strandings that are found around the Greek coastline. And Eirini already talked about our rescue center in Glyfada, that is near Athens. And this is where we receive all the turtle patients that might be injured or sick. And this is where treatment and rehabilitation happens until the animals are released back to the sea. And of course, we have public awareness and educational activities that we run in every single one of those project areas. And at the same time, we put out a lot of research and publications about our studies and our results. And yeah, so this is the most important part of our actions.
Very diverse activities, and as you explained, from the places also, so the animals are indeed super close to very popular tourist sites, right? And like travel destinations. So yeah, makes me even more proud that we can talk about this topic today to reach the people and inform them more about these wild animals that are so close to us. So we would directly impact on them, I think, being there, living there. Yeah, and maybe if we have this topic already, could you let us know what the main issues for the sea turtles and sea turtle populations, yeah, there are? So can you maybe describe some human animal conflicts or yeah, concerns that are there in the region?
So unfortunately, sea turtles worldwide, they have to face a lot of threats. It doesn't matter the species, but they have to, it's like a complex mix of threats also in Greece as well. Either these threats can be in the sea, or as well on land when they're coming out to nest, for example, or also for the hatchlings, the eggs and the hatchlings later on. So unfortunately, the majority of these threats are coming from us, from humans. I can talk about specifically the cases that we see at the rescue center first, and then Anna can also add some other very important threats to the sea turtle population. Based on the sea turtles that are admitted at the hospital, basically at the rescue center, unfortunately, the majority, the higher percentage of cases are the ones that have been deliberately they have deliberate injuries, by people, so deliberately inflicted by humans, mainly in the area of the head. And it's a very challenging issue in general, this, because obviously we're talking about animal abuse. And also this impact in the area of the head, as you can understand, creates a lot of neurological damage, a lot of neurological issues. The majority of our animals, for the first period of the rehabilitation, they're not able to eat on their own because of that. They're not able to dive properly like a normal sea turtle would do in the sea. So it's definitely very, very difficult. And usually the percentage every year is around 30 to 35 of them in total are coming with deliberately inflicted injuries. Another big threat, as we all know, has to do with the fishing gear and all the injuries that can be caused by fishing lines, by the hooks, by fishing nets. So we have to treat many cases of flipper injuries. We also have cases that the animals have ingested a hook. And sometimes we even have to perform a surgery to remove the hook and the fishing line as well. Usually, the recovery rate for this category of animals is much higher, to be honest, than the ones with the deliberately inflicted injuries. And we also have in lesser number, but it's still happening. We do receive sea turtles that have been injured by a boat. So boat collisions can happen, especially in very touristic areas. For example, Zakynthos Island, areas that they're very famous as well for the sea turtle population. So people sometimes actually want to see those animals up close. And lastly, that is not human related, we do have to treat cases of animals that have been basically sick. So that's a completely natural thing. They might have a bacteria infection. It's very common for them to get hypothermia when the weather gets very cold, all of a sudden, especially. We have to treat some cases of lung infection. But usually that number is kind of low, and mainly those cases are occurring during the winter months. So that's it from the rescue center kind of side, from the patients and the cases that we see every day.
May I add a question to that? So, because I was also, so thank you. And I was also checking your current patients on the website of ARCHELON. And also I was shocked and also to learn prior to our interview that many of these head injuries, as you just explained, are deliberately performed, so on purpose. And I was wondering why, like, did you find reasons for that? Maybe also to stop it, and why is this happening?
It's like I already mentioned, it's a very challenging issue that we have to face every single day. We do think that all of this is caused because of the persistent belief among some people, especially I would add from like older generations, if I may say that, that turtles can actually feed on fish, which is not really true. So these people are feeling sort of threatened, that the fish stock is actually threatened by marine species in general, because we also have animal abuse cases on seals, for example, or on dolphins as well. So we think that there is a correlation with that kind of fact. In order to change this, you can understand it's so difficult to change like a belief from especially elderly people, and these people are passing on what they know to younger generations as well. So our role, ARCHELON's role is, of course, to educate, to raise awareness, and in this case, to make it absolutely clear that sea turtles are not harming at all or damaging the fish stocks. They're not reducing it. They eat a lot of other things, but definitely not fish. They're not capable of even like going swimming so fast in order to actually catch fish and feed on them. So basically, we have to face these misconceptions in this country. So community engagement, we would say, and education are very, very important aspects. And hopefully this is how we're gonna change the mind of many, many people. I will also add that ARCHELON has been doing some seminars. We call them rescue seminars, in many different places in Greece, especially the areas that I call hotspots. So we have a lot of cases of especially head injuries, deliberately inflicted head injuries. So we know that, and for many years now, we try to organize every now and then a seminar like that to inform the community. Wherever we have to go, we have to inform the community. We invite the Coast Guards, for example, the actual fishermen community as well, so we can have a discussion and to just try to end this misconception that is being passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, I think these info, let's say, seminars are very valuable tools, I believe, and we can also start here. So maybe briefly answer the question, what do the adult sea turtles feed on? I think it's rather jellyfish, so is that correct?
Yeah, for sure.
The
Jellyfish,
yeah.
it is. Yeah. In general, their diet depends on the species of sea turtle, and also their age sometimes. I would give a few examples. We have the loggerhead sea turtle, the famous careta careta. So they mainly prefer to eat like bottom-dwelling creatures, especially the ones attached to rocks. So sea urchin is definitely one of their favorites. They also do eat jellyfish, starfish, like anything that's slow moving, let's put it that way. Other species can be quite different. For example, we have the green sea turtle. who is omnivorous in the first years of their life. And when they become adults, they actually become herbivorous, so vegetarian for them, like with seaweed, algae, and other plant-based creatures, basically. And then again, many other differences for other species. The leatherback, since you mentioned jellyfish, so the leatherback sea turtle is mainly feeding on jellyfish or any kind of soft-bodied organisms as well. We have the hawksbill, who is a big fan of sponges as well. So quite a lot of differences there between the species, for sure.
Super interesting and also very, I guess, relevant to know when housing them,
Yeah.
rehabilitating
Yeah.
them. So you have, I think, then, if I count correctly, four species of different sea turtles there, or three.
There's 7 in total in the
Yeah.
worldwide, and here in Greece we have 3 of them. So it's the loggerhead sea turtle, which is the most common one, and it's actually the one that, of course, we want to protect every species, but loggerhead sea turtles are very special here in Greece because they're the ones that are actually nesting. The female loggerheads are coming out to nest in our country. We also have quite a few green sea turtles, and the population is rising, I think. I don't know if there's anything to do, there's any correlation, with the climate change as well. But we keep seeing more of them, more and more, maybe due to the waters getting a bit warmer. So we have also at the rescue center quite a few cases every year, an average of 5 to 6 usually green sea turtles out of an average of 65, 70 arrivals that we get per year. And the last species that we have in Greece is the leatherback, which is very rare to be sighted in general. And thankfully, we don't have a leatherback currently at the rescue center. I think it was 20 years ago, based on the records that we have, that there was a leatherback under rehabilitation at the rescue center.
Wow, I can imagine you might need quite a big tank to
Yeah.
to rescue and keep it.
Yeah. From the research that I've done and what I've read so far, and it's something like research on leatherbacks, on sea turtles in general, is we keep going with the research because there are a lot of things that we don't know. As far as rehabilitation on leatherbacks is concerned, the suggestion is always to try to do whatever you can on site where the animal has been stranded, basically, because there are references that the leatherback as a species is not doing very well in captivity, which makes sense. Any animal species that is very big, like enormous in size, like a leatherback, doesn't have a very good prediction of survival in rehabilitation.
I understand that, for example, if you have an animal like leatherback, that it's better to treat it on site, do what you can do there, like in nature, and don't take it to the center. But imagining you have patients there, and I think, how many animals can the center treat or house, let's say?
We can definitely house 42 sea turtles at the same time. So we have the necessary equipment, tanks that are connected to the water system to have constant circulation. But we also have spare tanks that are not attached to the water system in case of emergencies, in case we basically have to be above the 42 patients at the same time. But of course, you can understand, especially during the summer season, that we are more busy. we're getting more arrivals between May and October. It's also thankfully the season for sure that we do releases. So some turtles are ready to be released, so we do the releases, and new turtles are coming in injured or sick. So we have this constant fluctuation of the number of our patients at the rescue center.
And before we come to more details of the releases, which is a great goal, of course, I can imagine, are there additional specific details you have to take care of when housing them? Of course, considering the feed, like the different feed sources. They basically eat or feed on. Water quality, I believe.
Yeah.
Are there any other, I mean, some are heavily injured, but are there any other, for example, enrichment strategies or details, factors you have to take care of and into account when housing them?
We're going to one of my favorite topics now. So environmental enrichment. So as you said very well, feeding is very important. Cleaning the animals once in a while and their tanks is also part of our routine, daily routine. Wound care treatment. Along with my 2 assistants, we're very busy with that, especially with all the head traumas that we have to treat. It can take sometimes more than an hour for one injury to be treated. We also, of course, provide the animals with medications, with specific antibiotics, painkillers to manage for the pain management, of course. We also do give them vitamins, any kind of supplement that they might need. Some of the animals, they might not be able to eat, so part of our daily routine is to also perform tube feed on them. So we give the necessary food that has been blended basically, and with the provision of a tube that is adjusted obviously to the size of the turtle that we need to tube feed. We give this specific food with vitamins, calcium tablets, anything that is required for them. And then we do have, of course, enrichment. Environmental enrichment is, for the past years, has been part of our daily routine. The fun fact is that I started doing environmental enrichment as part of a voluntary project when I was actually volunteering at the rescue center. So it was the first time ever that we started using environmental enrichment devices on sea turtles in Greece in general in 2016. It's something that I really I'm so passionate about, because through enrichment, we're basically encouraging natural behaviors of the species that we give the enrichment devices to. So, for example, a natural behavior of a sea turtle would be to scratch their carapace in like small rocks, or to even have other organisms like little fish, for example, trying to clean their carapace off from algae or any other little organisms that they might have on their carapace. So we can actually imitate something like that at a rescue center setting by using a specific, we call it a cave. It's a formation of PVC pipes, and we attach like the head of a broom. So if a turtle would like to scratch their carapace, they would actually go ahead and do it. It's actually like an important part of their behavior in the wild. So we do consider natural behaviors in general of the species that we're working with is absolutely necessary, especially when we're reaching the final stage before the release of these animals. It's very important to try to mimic the environment before they actually go back into the sea.
And maybe that's hard to tell, but let's take, for example, a more severe head injury because it occurs more often. How long would a patient typically stay at the rescue center?
Our average for the past many decades that the rescue center is operating is around 8 months of rehabilitation. But like I said, this is an average. We do have the easier cases. Sometimes flipper injuries caused due to entanglement might be an easier case, and the animal might be actually released after 3 month rehabilitation period. But like you mentioned, the majority of our cases are the ones with head injuries. So unfortunately, those animals have to stay with us for a longer period of time. A typical amount of time, I would say it's around a year. Again, it depends on the species, because I've seen different kind of progress between species, and most importantly between the age. There are many different factors, obviously. So in any case, sometimes a year. Other cases that we have actually released, they were with us for 2 years, 3 years, and our record is 5 years. After 5 years being at the rescue center, that animal was eventually released. So yeah, many different factors to consider for sure. Mainly the location of the head injury, obviously. Usually the ones that are on the side of the cranium have better luck. The survival rate is a bit higher. But then again, we have many of these cases trying to recover from potential blindness, like the animals might not be able to see. So yeah, it can be tricky either way, very, very challenging. It's just the cases that the head injury is located in the center of the cranium usually take longer to rehabilitate.
Makes total sense. And what signs or parameters would you look for, maybe from the behavioral side or from the health side, to decide, okay, now our animal will be ready to be rewilded or transferred back?
Based on our protocols, because everything that we do, from the simplest thing like cleaning a tank or cleaning a turtle up to like when you take the final decision to release an animal, everything is based on ARCHELON's protocols. We look for many, many different things. Very briefly, I will mention the fact that from a small tank that we usually keep the animals in the first period of the rehabilitation. When they start to do better, we have to move them in a bigger space, a bigger tank. So over there, we have the ability, because those tanks are way bigger and deeper as well. We have the ability over there to observe the animal's behavior, and also diving ability, which are very important things. So we need to make sure that the animal is reaching to the stage that it's able to eat on its own. With no help from us, like feeding them with forceps, for example. So the turtle for sure needs to be able to eat on its own. We also need to make sure that they don't get any kind of external assistance with their buoyancy. So we have to see them swimming, diving, resting on the bottom of the big tank, completely like by themselves. Without any extra weights that we may have added. We have to remove them gradually to double check that their diving is okay. And through environmental enrichment again, which I love, we can actually check if the animal is behaving normally. If you have the normal wild behaviors that you would see in a conspecific. So it's very important to have all these things for sure. Sometimes we might need to redo any kind of X-ray, any kind of diagnostic test, just to double check that the animal is ready to go. And then, yeah, we take the decision. I take the decision to release the animal.
Amazing that they're even able to recover, of course, with a great aid from your side, but that also physically, biologically, they are able to recover from such severe
Yeah.
injuries. Yeah.
I call them little dinosaurs. I mean, they
Yeah.
have been with us for millions of years.
Mhm.
I do call them little dinosaurs because it's absolutely incredible what they can go through and still survive. And on that note, very briefly, if you allow me to mention, the majority of our patients are actually being found after days or even weeks. So they're coming in and we can see the head injuries that they're not fresh anymore. The wounds are not fresh, they're quite old. So we can have a very vague estimation. Of course, some cases are arriving very fast just because they were lucky enough, I think, to be found very, very quickly, especially in like a high human populated area, for example. But a lot of our cases, like I said, are coming after days or even weeks. So they can survive without food as well for a very long time. Obviously, they become very weak, very debilitated, and eventually they're being stranded somewhere on the beach at a specific area. But yeah, that can happen after weeks sometimes.
And maybe for us to understand such process of releasing an animal, how does that work? Do you do it at night, for example, or you choose specific location? Yeah, maybe where it's found, but
Mhm.
please you go ahead, answer
Yeah,
these questions that come to
of
my mind.
course. So obviously, well, the whole releasing process is one of the best feelings we can actually experience at the rescue center, along with our volunteers, because you can actually see all the hard work that we put on, that it pays off. So it's an incredible feeling. When an animal is ready, we decide on a specific day and time. Usually it happens late in the morning or early in the afternoon as part of our daily routine. So for the team, for the volunteers, and for my team not to have a very long day. Um, and it's also important to do it during daylight, just because myself, along with my two assistants and one of the volunteers, whoever is willing, would like to do that, we actually follow the turtle that is being released a little bit in the water just to make sure that it's doing okay and is actually basically goes away, exiting the specific cove that we're releasing the turtles. We keep a distance, of course. There are very strict rules about it, but we are in the water from a distance just to check that everything is going to be okay. So all of our releases are happening during the day. And we have a very specific area that we go for definitely more than a decade, because I remember that place from when I was a volunteer. So I've kept that specific area because it's a little bit away from the center of Athens and from like highly populated areas in general, but on the other hand, it's not very far away as well. So we try to find a balance for the animal not to be for too long inside the car. When you have a healthy animal in the car in a box, it can be a bit tricky because they want to get out, they want to escape.
Mhm.
So in order to balance this, balance the time that we are actually in the car, this spot is absolutely perfect. So it's a specific beach that we go. It's a little cove, and uh, yeah, it's happening there. And it's, like I said, again, it's one of the most beautiful things and most incredible parts of our job, for sure.
And I was wondering, once they're gone, is it necessary, or would you do that like to tag every animal to monitor their movement, or is that maybe also not necessary for every individual? How would you proceed, or maybe with selected ones?
That is an excellent question. It's one of the aspects that I'm working really hard to improve and do better. So we always tag our turtles. Any turtle that is being released, we're placing 2 little metal tags in both from flippers, so 1 metal tag for each from flipper. We also placing them a microchip that goes internally, and it can be found obviously only with a scanner, but we prefer to do both microchipping and the metal tagging anyway, to be safe, to increase the chances of someone, if someone finds that animal, to let us know. And what we have been working for the past years especially is to actually be able to place a transmitter as well every now and then to some of our cases. I think that is very, very important because we really need to know what is happening afterwards to these animals, let alone the ones that have been with us for a year or 2 years or even longer sometimes, and especially from the ones that have recovered from a head injury. It's very important data that we need to have, not only, of course, for the sea turtles that we're releasing. Of course, we want to know if that animal, specific animal, and every single animal that we're releasing, we need to know that they're doing well. But most importantly as well, for our own knowledge and experience, and be able to do better and to treat better, rehabilitate better the next patients that we're going to have.
Yeah, and I imagine this will all add to your data, right? Like also the travel distances, where they are in summer, winter, to complete the picture also on these biological and environmental data in general, right? Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, thank you for all this insight into this really also practical veterinary treatment enrichment related aspects when housing the animals. Maybe to complete the picture, I think still from the beginning, maybe Anna wanted to add more on, maybe environmental issues or problems the animals or the populations are facing in Greece. So if you want to, please enlighten us on additional challenges that these animals face.
Yes, of course. Eirini explained in detail what dangers sea turtles face in the water, but also those creatures, a big part of their breeding depends on the land. So they have a lot of threats to face when they come out to nest, and for the baby hatchlings that are born on those nesting sites, and they have to find their way to the sea. So again, we have natural dangers that are like wild predation. For example, foxes and dogs may find the nests and eat the eggs. Or the baby hatchlings, get hunted by other animals on the beach or inside the water. So there are only few of the baby hatchlings will actually make it to adulthood. But that's a natural process, and that's why sea turtles have evolved to nest around 100 eggs in every single nest and do 3 to 4 nests every nesting period. But where humans come in, and it's a little trickier because they sometimes inflict dangers that are humanly caused. Of course, you can imagine that when the nesting period, like from May, that lasts from May until October, coincides with when people go on vacation in Greece. that can create a human-wildlife conflict on those touristic places. And for example, we can have the literal space for nesting can be decreased, for example, from construction, from development of infrastructure, or just even from beach furniture. So the nesting turtles will come out to nest and just bump onto furniture on the beach, and that will, of course, deter them from actually nesting. Also, a huge part is light pollution in those places where we have artificial lighting from the taverns or the resorts or the streets that can disorient the mother turtles or stress them. And it's also really bad for the baby hatchlings as well. Because hatchlings, when they come out of the nest, they are phototactic, meaning that they get directed to the sea, following the moonlight and the light from the stars that is being reflected on the water. So when artificial lighting sheds light behind the beach, the hatchling will follow this light source and end up on the street or inside hotels and being trampled or not make it to the sea. And of course, general human behavior during nighttime at the beaches can deter or minimize the success of either nesting or hatching, because those both very vital behaviors happen at night. And so, beach parties or fires or camping on those beaches can be problematic. And in a general, more bigger picture, we have to mention plastic pollution and climate change, of course. Both have an immeasurable impact on wildlife and biodiversity in general. And of course, sea turtles are found, Eirini knows better than me, they're found with a lot of plastics in their stomachs. And also we have recently a new study has come out with a global study with ARCHELON research as well about Greece, that there are microplastics in the nesting beaches as well that infiltrate into the feeding into the food chain. And a big part for the life cycle of the turtle is temperature, especially the temperatures inside the nest when hatching is ongoing, because temperature decide, let's say, the sex ratios of the different eggs. So rising temperatures inside the nests because of climate change and global warming can cause more female hatchlings to come out, and in long term, cause a problem to the reproductive population. So yeah, I would say, because you mentioned human-animal conflict, I think that education and awareness can get a long way to combat a lot of those dangers, because we have seen that our conservation work does have an impact on those nesting sites. And we want to turn it around and we want educated tourists that can be supporters and advocates for the sea turtles and their conservation. I really believe that tourism can be a great asset to our mission if it's, through sustainable practices, education, and effective guidelines. And that's why we accompany our conservation efforts with awareness initiatives in those areas.
Yeah, great. And I also thought about educating the public and also each and every one of our listeners. So if you would have, let's say, like a wish list or maybe some concrete action points, what could each of us do or maybe don't do maybe during our next vacation, our next time on site in Greece? You already touched upon, please no beach party at night, or I mean, how can we help and assist, even like us, even if we think about the issue, maybe we are performing badly in a way that's not really helpful for the turtles. So what could we maybe do, or what should we avoid?
Thank you for the question. Of course, many things can be unintentional. And yeah, I would say firstly, you can search if the place you're visiting in Greece is a sea turtle nesting site. Because, if it is, we have to behave turtle friendly. So if we're visiting a nesting site in Zakynthos, for example, or Crete in Chania, Rethymnon, Messara Bay, or West and South Peloponnese, those are the hotspots for turtle nesting. I would advise to search for eco-friendly accommodations in general, or even just put some pressure on your hotels or your accommodation and ask them if they follow turtle-friendly guidelines or if they support local conservation efforts. Tourists there can have a great impact in the business men and motivate them to turn to more sustainable practices. And of course, as we already mentioned, to avoid the beaches during nighttime, just to avoid them altogether is better. And of course, to refuse to attend beach parties and not use flashlights if you have to be on the beach, not light fires or loud music, because you can scare off the nesting turtles. Or if it's hatching time, which is after at the end of July until October, you can trample on the baby hatchlings that are as small as your ear, so you may not even be aware that they're coming out of their nests. Of course, ARCHELON works on those nesting sites, and you will notice our protective equipment around the nests, and we try to protect every single nest if we can. And you will notice different kind of protection and signage in different kind of areas. But I would say if you find our volunteers, they will be wearing their blue T-shirts, and you can go to them and learn more about what you can do in this specific area and how to support them. And if you are going on boat trips, of course, in Zakynthos, this is a really big issue. Please ask if they follow the guidelines that are in place from the National Marine Park of Zakynthos. We work with 2 boat operators on the islands that we think are good and turtle friendly. So you can ask for that. And just in general, of course, reduce plastic consumption and waste. Maybe take a reusable bottle from our info station. And
Yes, we do.
Great. Yeah, generally support sustainability with your everyday activities, not leave trash on the beaches. Be as plastic free as possible.
Are there rules and regulations in place from the government side, that are already active, like in place? Can you let us know if there are, if there are such regulations from the government?
So all the nesting sites, the loggerhead nesting sites in Greece are located within the European Natura 2000 network sites, and they are protected areas and that are under the management of the Natural Environment and Climate Change Agency of the Ministry of Environment. And so different sites have different degrees of protection, let's say. For example, in 1999, the National Marine Park of Zakynthos was established. So there are very strict regulations in place in Zakynthos. And in 2018, Kyparissia Bay was declared a nature protection area by presidential decree. So again, we have special protection measures that apply in those habitats. But even in the rest of the nesting beaches, the municipalities can grant businesses some space on the beach for simple use. That's the legislation they follow when you see sunbeds or umbrellas on the beach. But if they are on nesting sites, they have to follow some simple protection directions and guidelines. For example, they have to remove the beach furniture after sunset and some other guidelines that are set by legislation.
Oh, thank you for the addition, because that was one more question I wanted to ask. So now the picture.
I wanted to add something on that, but I don't know if it's the question that you want to make. Maybe it's about the laws around the animal welfare and the issues of abuse. I don't know if that was what you wanted.
It's super interesting. Yeah. Yes, please. Yeah, because I also only know the German law situation a bit. Yes.
Just because we're, like Anna explained very well about pretty much everything and the protected areas and the laws that there are there. I just wanted to add that there are laws against animal abuse as well that are actually promoting animal welfare. We are actually proud to say that as a country, many years ago, we started having those laws. They were implemented, and the most updated law in 2021 actually was a bit groundbreaking. We are now one of the very few countries in Europe that is actually treating animal abuse as a felony. So we're talking about not only fines, but most importantly, imprisonment, especially in severe cases of neglect, abandonment, and of course, direct animal abuse. Based on law, there are very severe consequences. For the past many years, especially the past 3 years, I would say for sure, we keep seeing as well the power of social media. So any kind of animal abuse incident can be actually recorded like on real time and actually posted on social media, so it can be addressed directly and that specific person can go to court immediately. Unfortunately, in relation to sea turtles, any kind of animal abuse cases that we have usually these are happening offshore, which is very, very sad because nobody is around to actually report and actually see that, let alone record it. So unfortunately, we have so many cases to treat at the rescue center of deliberately inflicted injuries, especially in the area of the head. But we have no proof. Like, it's extremely challenging and almost impossible to actually record something like that in the middle of nowhere in the sea. But at least we have the law on our side, which is always very helpful, at least for the rest of the species that are on land. It's always way easier. So I just wanted to add that and to explain as well why it's very difficult to address and actually find those people who are abusing sea turtles.
Yeah, of course, in contrast, this is much harder, right, to detect offshore if it happens
Very far
somewhere.
away. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But at least, as you said, the legal basis is there.
Yeah.
And hopefully also with the help of further education, this can be further improved.
Yeah, exactly. We're always hoping for the best. Yeah.
Yeah, to fight and act further.
Maybe I can say a bit more about how you can get more involved with ARCHELON, because we have many points where we can engage with the public. First of all, we have a 24-hour rescue line. So in any case, if you're in Greece and you find an injured or sick turtle or a debilitated turtle, or even a dead one, you can call our rescue line and report it. You can be the first chain in this that will lead to the rescue of this animal. You can volunteer. That's also a huge part of our work is because of our volunteers, that they come and work at our projects or our rescue center from all over the world. Actually, Germans are a big part of our volunteering family, and we're very happy for that. All our projects work in English, so we love to have international volunteer with us, and we are open to everyone and every age after 18. So I want to motivate even older generations to come and find their place in our mission. And of course, if you cannot come to Greece, you can always support us by a donation or a symbolic adoption of one of our turtles, or just spread the awareness. You can always follow us on social media and follow the different missions and see our news and spread the awareness for our efforts to your friends, family, or your community.
Yeah, thank you, first of all, for the hands-on advice that you shared with us for our next time on site, and also for presenting the vast opportunities and offers that are there to get engaged with you, with ARCHELON, with the protection and activities you do. Yeah, I would support, or how do you say, confirm that super exciting opportunity. I think, for example, starting as a volunteer and doing hands-on work. So we will add further information to our show notes so that our listeners can find your website and additional information you want to share, so they can directly get in touch with you and your team. So thank you also for presenting this. I think not only super interesting for young biologists, young veterinarians, but everybody, right? At every age, you said, as of 18, who wants to be part of the progress and change and your activities. So thank you also for presenting these opportunities and giving an insight into your very interesting and important work there. So I really enjoyed learning more about it, and I guess I can speak for all our listeners, yeah, that it's true for them as well.
Thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to share our message and to talk to your community and your audience. Thank you so much.
Thank you also. And if there's, I don't know, any final word or tip you would like to share, you can do that now. But you don't have to. Just if you want to, I give you the platform if you want to add anything.
I don't want to forget to mention that we also offer tours of the Sea Turtle Rescue Center every day that you can book online on our website if you ever come in Athens and you want to see those amazing patients up close and learn about their individual stories. And if you want to meet Eirini and the rescue team, and also if you have a group of students or university or smaller ones, we also carry out educational activities every day at the rescue center. And we have a program with online tours for schools that are not near the center. So we can spread our message in schools across Greece, but even internationally. And if you're visiting one of the nesting beaches this summer, you can also join our sea turtle beach walks that you can also book online on our website. And one of our volunteers will come and guide you on those nesting sites and explain the conservation work and show you the nests and the equipment and explain to you all the work that we're doing there.
Thank you for the interesting additions. Yeah, super. And also very accessible from wherever you are and whatever detail you are interested in. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Super.
I would like, obviously Anna covered everything regarding volunteering. But as a last message, I would just like to say that there are literally 1,000 places like the rescue center or the field projects of ARCHELON in the world. So there are so many places where volunteers are protecting animals, rehabilitate them, educating people, and inspiring and encouraging those people to protect the environment. Because we do care about sea turtles, but also for the environment as a whole, because it's just a chain, basically. Everything is linked, everything is connected. So I would like to encourage every single person who is listening to this to just be one of those people, like become a volunteer. You can make the change and you can make a difference. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for the welcoming and encouraging words. Yeah, sorry, Anna, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Saying beautifully said, and I'm completely covered.
I think all this thing is just inspired by my idol, like the incredible Dr. Jane Goodall. She has said in the past that basically every individual can make a difference. So what you do can make a difference, and you just have to decide what kind of difference you want to make. So, yeah.
We give the food for thought. Thank you. Yeah, there are opportunities there to engage. So
thank you very much for having us.
You're more than welcome. Thank you for your time, despite all the tasks on the desk and on the beach and everywhere you're active. And I wish you much success for the ongoing work. And we will definitely keep in touch.
Of course, for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Then I will say goodbye to our listeners as well. We hope you enjoyed this episode. I've learned a lot, and hopefully we can make a change and you can take a lot away for your next vacation, your next activities, your next free time, if you want to change something and support the activities we heard about today. So if you have questions, feedback, please get in touch with our team, with Masha and me. You can write us an email, for example, podcast.daretocare@gmail.com, or you reach out via Instagram. You will find us there via daretocare_podcast. If you liked the episode, give us a nice review, 5 stars, and yeah, please keep in touch with us as well. We're looking forward to the next episode with you. Bye bye, take care.